Hare Krishna. Very happy and grateful to be with all of y'all on this very auspicious occasion of Diwali. Wishing all of y'all a very happy Diwali, a very Shubha Diwali. Um, Today, with great joy and happiness, I would like to share that we're completing the Ramayana series, and on that occasion, and um, the series is getting completed on the Diwali day. It's such a pleasure and an honor and a joy to share with all of y'all. Many of y'all have been avid readers of the Ramayana, the Game of Life series across the world. I have traveled the length and breadth of the world, and practically in every corner of the world, whether it is countries like Slovenia and Croatia, whether it is in countries like Australia and America, whether it is in places like Malaysia and Singapore and Taiwan and Thailand, or whether it is in the subcontinent of India and so many countries like Mauritius, South Africa. I have found readers are so enthusiastic about the Ramayana the Game of Life series, and the readers range all the way from kids to people literally who are in the last phase of their lives. I have a grandmother of mine who is an ardent reader of the Ramayana the Game of Life series, and she is probably 84, 85, but she just loves the series, and she is always asking me when is the next book coming. I have small kids who are hooked to the series, and they're telling me that they find this Rama and the Game of Life series so much exciting, like they remember reading the Harry Potter and many other books. And therefore, this series has become an integral part of many people's lives. There are sannyasis who are extremely scholarly people, knowing the scriptures in and out, who have been reading the books and have been giving me so many blessings. And at the same time, there have been modern um, uh, intellectuals who have been reading the books and seeing the interpretation, the way in which the book is presented in a modern context. People in the corporate world, people, youngsters from universities and colleges across the world, practically people from every walk of life. So it is such a pleasure to me when I understand that people are really benefiting from the book series. It has been a monumental task for me, and every single book from the series has so much impact. What I thought before I share so much about my journey of writing the book series is I'll give you all a glimpse of what all the six books are about. And each book, I'm just going to focus on one beautiful lesson that you can learn from the book. And then we will get on to the discussion of, my little experience of writing the series. And of course, last but not the least, we are going to do a cover reveal of book six of the Ramayana series. My mailboxes and my social media DMs have been flooded with requests from people asking me when is book six coming. In fact, people have been so upset and angry with me, asking me that when is the series getting completed. So, for all those people, the good news is that the series is going to, the last book cover is going to get released today, and post that we'll make an announcement about when the book will actually be available and things like that. Um, the first book of the series, it is known as Roar with Courage. It is actually book one, Balakanda of the Ramayana. Of the many things that Balakand teaches us, there is one most amazing thing that Balakand teaches us. It is about the idea of getting trained by a guru, a teacher. Lord Ram is the supreme personality of Godhead, but he still had two teachers. Not only Vashishta, who was his guru, taught him so many things about life and about the scriptures, the idea of using weapons, and so many other things. But he also had another guru whose name was Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra was one of the most powerful teachers of Lord Ram. Of the many things that Vishwamitra taught him, there was one thing that really is powerful. The Vishwamitra was a very powerful sage, unlimited powers and unlimited knowledge. But he always lived alone, secluded, very far off from society. Lived in the Himalayas, lived in the jungles, and not really meeting people. Absorbing, accumulating so much knowledge. Vishwamitra lived a life of austerities. He lived a life of contemplation. He lived a life of wisdom. But till this point in time, Vishwamitra had not shared his knowledge with anybody else. The first time Vishwamitra decided to share his knowledge with Lord Ram, he gave Ram two mantras, the Bala and the Ati Bala mantras. And when Vishwamitra gave Ram these two mantras, Vishwamitra felt a type of satisfaction that he had never felt ever in the past. And the kind of satisfaction that Vishwamitra felt is a satisfaction that is felt by anyone who shares his or her knowledge with others without expecting anything in return. Vishwamitra, when he shared the knowledge of Bala and Atibala mantras with Ram, Vishwamitra actually felt a big burden released from his heart. Because when you carry a lot of wealth, knowledge, experience, and so many other things, and you only keep it for yourself, but you never share it with others, it actually becomes a burden. And this burden, it's a tough burden to carry. And sharing increases joys. Sharing makes the whole experience of human life very beautiful and very deep. And Vishwamitra was giving the knowledge to Ram, who is the source of all knowledge. And therefore, for him, the experience was like offering Ganga water back in the Ganga. And that is what sharing actually is. Nothing belongs to us. Nothing in this world is ours to claim. How can we claim this knowledge is mine? Actually, nothing belongs to us. When we share what we know, we're actually sharing what doesn't belong to us back to the universe. It belongs to the universe. It has come to us in some way. And when I share, I'm actually sharing it back to the universe. The second book of the Ramayana, the Game of Life series, is known as Conquer Change. This book is book two of the Ramayana series, and it is technically the Ayodhya Kand of the Ramayana. This book has so many most amazing stories, which include the banishment of Lord Ram into the forest and so many other amazing stories. But of all the stories in this book, there is one story that I would like to share with you all. And the story is very beautiful. The story is very heart touching, and the story is very inspiring. Very often, we focus on many other characters of the Ramayana, but we forget some really important characters in the Ramayana that this book really talks about. This book is a book of sacrifice. Lord Ram makes a great sacrifice by sacrificing his right to the throne for the sake of greater peace in the family. Lord Ram walks away without any fight whatsoever when Kaikeyi claims the throne for her son. Sita makes a sacrifice by going to the forest. She's never been to a forest. And she makes a great sacrifice by leaving the comforts of her home and going into the forest. Bharat makes a sacrifice because he doesn't want to sit on the throne, but Rama is forcing him to sit on the throne. And he sits just because he is told to sit. Dasharath makes a sacrifice. He literally dies after the decision that he has taken. So many people in Ayodhya make sacrifices, of which one person, her sacrifice is very apt to discuss. This is Sumitra, the mother of Lakshman. So Lakshman, when he decided to go with Ram to the forest, he didn't ask his mother. He went to inform her after he made the decision. He didn't ask her, should I go? He asked her, he went to inform her after he made the decision. So when he went to Sumitra, he was very apprehensive what his mother will say. Because most mothers, they want their child to be comfortable. Who would like their child to go to the forest? Especially when they are not even told to go to the forest. It's not that Lakshman was told. Lakshman was just, he wanted to go because he wanted to serve Ram. When Lakshman went to Sumitra, he expected her to oppose him, stop him from going, think about his welfare, think about his uh, comforts. But what he saw and experienced was something amazing. Sumitra immediately understood the desire of her son and the connection that her son had with Ram. And Sumitra gave him an instruction. She said, from today onwards, your father is not Dasharath, your father is Ram. She said, from today onwards, your mother is not me, your mother is Sita. And from today onwards, your home is not Ayodhya, your home is the forest. And she said, from today onwards, the only service that you have is the service of Lord Rama and Sita. She said, nothing else you need to do. When Lakshman heard his mother, he was so happy because the only thing he wanted to do in his life was to serve Sita and Ram. His aspiration of life. And his mother understood it so well. Every mother needs to needs to think about their son's welfare and their son's prosperity, their son's growth. But most importantly, every mother has to think about their son's happiness. And the happiness of a person comes when he gets to do what he loves to do. And especially when what he loves to do is in connection with greater good for society and is in a selfless mood. And therefore, every mother should be like Sumitra, encouraging the Lakshmans in this world to serve selflessly, to contribute towards the growth of others, and to make sacrifices that are meaningful and deep. The third book of the Ramayana series is called Adopt Patience. It's technically the Aranya Kand of the Ramayana. This book is one of the most amazing books from the point of view of the excitement actually building up. This is the book of the forest. The word Aranya means forest, and Aranya Kand means the story of the forest. This book talks about the 13 years that Ram, Sita, Lakshman spent in the forest. And this book has so many amazing stories of great sages whom Lakshman and Sita meet. It talks about amazing adventures. It talks about intricate details of their forest life. And it talks about finally the kidnapping of Sita, the episode of Shurpanaka, the episode of Khardushan, and the 14 soldiers being eliminated, and so many other things. I just want to focus on one small bit of this story. Of all the sages that Ram, Lakshman, and Sita met, they met one particular sage who was very interesting. And the sage was known as Sharabhanga. Sharabhanga Rishi, he had an offer from Indra to go to the heavens, uh, perfected his life, done so much tapasya, and Indra actually came in a celestial chariot to take Sharabhanga Rishi to the heavens. But Sharabhanga Rishi said no. He said, the heavens is temporary. I want to go to a place where I never have to come back again. Sharabhanga Rishi was waiting for Lord Ram to come. And when Ram came, Sharabhanga Rishi did something amazing. He offered all the credit of his tapasya to Lord Ram. He said, please accept all the credit of my tapasya as an offering, a humble offering to you. Ram said, no, I don't want this. In fact, Ram said, I will earn my own credits. I don't want your credits. Why did Ram say that? Ram said that because he sensed a very small tinge of pride in that offering. When you have something and you're giving it to someone else, you always have this little feeling that I am bigger than that person. I'm big, that person is small. I have something, that person doesn't have something. There's a pride of a giver. Ram is trying to tell Sharamanga Rishi, you can give, but after giving, do not have the pride of the giver. A lot of times when we give to someone else, when we're trying to give charity, we're trying to help someone, we do help with the thought that we want to help that person. But along with the thought that we want to help that person, there is also a thought that I can help. And that little thought of thinking that I can help makes us a little proud. Therefore, Ram also tells Sharamanga Rishi, actually, it's not about us. It's not about my greatness that I'm offering it to you. Giving is actually it should be done in a very sensitive way, not in a very proud way. Sharabangarshi immediately understood it. And you know what he did? The whole night, that particular night, Ram, Lakshman, Sita spent their night with Sharabangarshi in his ashram. The entire night, Sharabangarshi was telling stories to Ram, Lakshman, and Sita. And he was sharing so much wisdom with Ram, Lakshman, and Sita. Wisdom that he's accumulated over a lifetime, he was sharing with them. At the end of this whole night of sharing, the next morning he felt, I have given whatever I could give to Ram, Lakshman, and Sita. Now I need to go back to the spiritual world. This time, Sharavanga Rishi didn't say, I'm giving. He just gave. And because he just gave without saying that I'm giving, there was no pride in it. So Sharavanga Rishi kept that pride element away and he shared. And that's something that Ram accepted. In all our lives, whenever we get an opportunity to share, please do share. But along with sharing, please keep away the pride of sharing, pride of giving. The fourth book of the Ramayan's The Game of Life series is known as Stand Strong. Technically, is the Kishkinda Kand of the Ramayana. This book is a very fast-paced book because this is where the Vanaras come in. I call them the wonder monkeys. These Vanaras are such amazing personalities. Each one of them have unique abilities, unique strengths, and unique um, contributions. Of all the things that Kishkinda teaches, there is one thing that I would like to focus on. Kishkinda is a book that talks about mentalities, mindsets. It's a book that talks about how people of different mindsets come together and function in society, function in an organization, function in a team. The word Vanara Nara means human, and Vanara is a question. Are you human? It's a question that all of us have to ask ourselves. In the Kishkinda Kanda of the Ramayana, when Sugriv saw Ram and Lakshman, he was not sure whether they were friends or enemies. So he told Hanumanji to go disguised as a human being. In fact, he told him disguise as a sannyasi and go and meet them, just to check who they are. Hanuman didn't believe in disguises. Hanuman just felt it's good to go the way we are. Why should we disguise ourselves? But Sugriv insisted, and because Sugriv was the master, Sugriv was Hanuman's, master. So Hanuman just complied, and he went disguised as a bhikshuk sannyasi. So obviously, when Hanuman realized the genuineness of Ram and Lakshman, immediately he gave up the disguise and assumed his original Vanara form. But interestingly, when Ram and Lakshman were brought to meet Sugriv, Sugriv comes out disguised as a human being. He comes out dressed, disguised completely as a human being. He doesn't appear like a Vanara. Why does Sugriv do that? Because Sugriv believes in looking good. He believes that when I present myself to somebody else, I need to look good. It's not about being good, it's all about looking good. A lot of people in this world are just like Sugriv. They are something else, but they want to show the world that they're something else. All the Sugrivs of this world need the company of Hanumans who do not believe in just looking good. They believe in being good. The Vanara camp is filled with people who are confused between looking good and being good. They want to be good, but they think that being good starts by looking good. So, in the process of trying to look good, they forget to be sensitive. They forget to be genuine. Whereas people like Hanumanji, they do not focus on the looking good part, but they focus on the being good part because they understand if you are good internally, it doesn't really matter externally. People who really love you genuinely, they're not interested in how you look, they're interested in who you are. And the Kishkinda of the Ramayana is an amazing book that talks about such deep insights of the human mindset, its frailties, its weaknesses, its shortcomings, its struggles, and then brings out the most amazing quality of trying to be genuine. And that's why this book is called Stand Strong, because it helps you stand strong, trying to be genuinely good, not just trying to externally impress people. The fifth book of the Ramayana is one of the best in the series. It's called Radiate Confidence. The fifth book of the Ramayana is technically the Sundarkand of the Ramayana. In fact, Sundarkand itself is a book, and it's a complete book by in and of itself. It portrays the journey of Hanumanji all the way from the southern tip of India to Lanka, finding Sita, burning Lanka, doing so many amazing adventures there, coming back and informing Ram about Sita's whereabouts, and then the journey of the Vanaras going towards the south. While all other books of the Ramayana are sometimes months, sometimes years, Sundarkand of the Ramayana is practically just 2 days. Only 2 days of what happens in the entire story is packed in this one book. This book is not just a storybook, it's not just a book of wisdom, but it is a meditation. It's a book that every person who really wants to understand deeply the journey of life, especially the journey of spirituality, should read. The entire Sundarkand of the Ramayana represents the journey of a sadhaka, journey of a spiritual aspirant, all the way from the beginning of his journey to the time he finds Bhakti Devi, finds devotion, finds perfection of his spiritual pursuits, and all the struggles that come in between. Sundarkand of the Ramayana has some amazing episodes that genuinely bring inspiration to the heart. Sundarkand is filled with such lessons that can inspire people, but at the same time, it can awe people. One thing that I would like to focus on the many things that the Sundarkand talks about, of all the many things that Sundarkand talks about, is when Hanumanji is in Lanka and he is searching for Sita in every nook and corner of Lanka. There is elaborate descriptions of the search of Sita. Finally, he gets really despondent. And in his despondency, he doesn't know what to do because he starts having a lot of negative thoughts in his mind. He starts thinking, if I go back and tell Ram, tell everyone that I have not found Sita, what will happen? Hanuman thinks the moment Ram hears that Sita is not found, he will die. If Ram dies, Lakshman will die. If Lakshman dies, Sugri will surely die because he will think that I have not been able to fulfill my vow to these two people. And if Sugriv dies, all the Vanaras will die. If all the Vanaras die, all their wives will die. He's, the nature of the mind is to expand small things and make them big. The nature of the mind is to always make a small problem appear big. Just like a person's shadow is usually bigger than a person, especially if the light is focused from the front, shadow appears much, much bigger. Similarly, the problem, which is small, starts appearing much bigger when the mind, superimposes its negative thoughts. Hanumanji dealt with this negative thoughts, plethora of negative thoughts by two ways. First, Hanumanji did what is known as self talk. He spoke to himself and he realized that I can't give up. And the reason I can't give up is that there is so much more that I need to do. Why should I give up now? And it's not that he has done less, he has crossed an entire ocean. They have been searching for 2 months, high and low, practically across the world. And just when you have done so much, just because things are not seeming exactly the way we want it to happen, we tend to give up. Hanumanji decided, I'm not going to give up. And to help himself not give up, Hanumanji did the second thing, which is one of the most important things that everyone should learn, especially in situations of despondency. Hanumanji did what is known as prayer. He offered a very beautiful prayer to Lord Ram and Mother Sita. He thought that I have been searching for Sita. I've been wanting to have darshan of Sita, but have I prayed to Sita? Hanumanji felt that for me to have darshan of Sita, she has to sanction it. And Hanumanji felt that I have been searching so long by the merit of my efforts. I have been searching so long based on my enthusiasm, my ability, my efforts. Now, let me search based on a prayer. Sometimes when things don't work out logically, with logic and reasoning, that is the time you need to take shelter of prayers. There are many problems in life that logic and reasoning don't have a solution. And whenever you come across a problem that logic and reasoning doesn't have a solution, that is the time you take shelter of prayers. Hanumanji, he instantly prayed to Lord Ram, Mother Sita, all the gods, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu, so many of the Agni, praying to the elements, praying to the universe, praying to the gods, praying to the directions for help in finding Sita. The moment he offered this prayer, next moment itself he opened his eyes and his eyes fell on Ashok Vatika. It's a place that he had never seen so far. Whenever you come across problems in life that you do not have a solution to, offer a small prayer. Perhaps you'll find a solution that you've never thought of. And finally, the sixth book of the Ramayana series. This book is called Think Big to Win. Book 6 of the Ramayana, the Game of Life series. It is technically the Yuddha Kand of the Ramayana. And I am so happy to announce to all the readers that this is the best book in the series. The most amazing stories, the most adventurous stories, and the most thrilling stories of the fight of Ram Ravan. How the Vanaras are so excited in this fight, how the Vanaras is so madly running after a goal that practically is unattainable. Think big. That is why the Ram Ravan war is actually technically, if you look at it, the biblical tradition talks about the story of David and Goliath. This is much bigger than that. Goliath was just one person, but here every single Rakshasa in the army of Ravan was Goliath and much bigger. And to add to that, Kumbhakarna was another factor. And all the Vanaras in Ram's army were tiny, were small in comparison, untrained in comparison, unequipped in comparison. But all the monkeys in Ram's army, they had one thing. They had great confidence. And where did that confidence come from? The confidence came because of two reasons. The first, confidence came because they knew they are on the right side. They're doing the right thing. They have a right purpose. Whenever your purpose is clear, there is great confidence that comes with that clarity. The second thing is that they not only knew that the purpose was clear, they also knew that Ram's name and Ram is on their side. And anyone who has the Lord and his holy names on their side, they have nothing to fear. Therefore, the Ram Ravan war, the Yuddha Kand of the Ramayana, is technically all about faith. It's all about having confidence in yourself. The Vanaras, when they were, shouting out their war cries, they were roaring like lions. That's the description that comes out. How can small people who have nothing, who have less equipments, who are less trained, roar like lions in front of an army of Goliaths, of giants? Simply because they have confidence in something that is invisible, that is intangible, that is inconceivable. And that confidence makes us intuitively fearless. This book, the sixth book of the Ramayana Game of Life series, is another world. It's a book that you won't believe. The kind of stories that are there in this book is just unbelievable. I'll tell you a small, tiny one before we, get into the very, very important uh, episode of revealing the cover to all of y'all, the much awaited Ramayana, the Game of Life series, book six cover. The story is a part of this book, and it's a very tiny story I'll share with y'all. While the bridge was built, the bridge building exercise took about 5 days. 800-mile long and an 18-mile long wide bridge was built by the Vanaras in just 5 days. After the bridge was built, Lord Ram, he was invited to step on the bridge. And as soon as Lord Ram put his foot on the bridge, as soon as he put his first step on the bridge, something unbelievable happened. From the sides of the bridge, waves started rising, and all kinds of sea animals, fishes, and all kinds of organisms started rising on the surface, right on the edge of the bridge. So the bridge was here, and the two sides of the bridge, this side and this side, it was filling with crocodiles and whales and timingala fishes and tortoises and all kinds of sea animals. So literally the bridge was here, and this side was a thick layer of these animals on the surface. And this side was a thick layer of these animals on the surface. The result was that the bridge became double its width because so many animals were rising to the surface. So there was a stone bridge in between, and there was an animal bridge on the sides. So the Vanaras now had such a wide bridge to walk on. And the most amazing thing is, they ran across this bridge. And as they ran, this is like the first ever bridge. This is probably the first ever bridge constructed at that point in time. And as the Manaras are having this thrill of running across this ocean, all these sea animals were just there on the surface, helping Lord Ram and the Vanara army cross. As soon as the last person in the army, who was Lord Ram, who was on the shoulders of Hanumanji, he stepped off the bridge. This entire extra bridge went into the ocean, and all the sea animals went back to their own places. And look at the way in which the universe comes together to aid someone who has a very powerful purpose and a very clear intention to serve society. And therefore, this sixth book of the Ramayana, the Game of Life series, is, I can promise you all, the best of the series. Um, I am very, very happy to announce that the book will be available from the mid of November, but the pre orders are beginning today. So today itself, all of y'all can order your books on Amazon. Um, Please go ahead and order the book. But before that, let us see the cover of the book. Here is the cover of book six of the Ramayana, the Game of Life series. For the pleasure of all my readers and for the pleasure of all the listeners of this uh, live session, here is the cover. I'm sure all of y'all are looking at this cover and wondering when the book is going to come into your hands. Very soon, the book will be there. I can assure y'all. Think big to win. Dare to transform your life is book six of the Ramayana, the Game of Life series, and this completes the series. I have been working on this series for the last 8 years, literally. Started in January of 2013, and the series is completed Diwali 2021, October, November now. And it's been a long journey, but a very beautiful journey and a very fulfilling journey. I really would like to thank all the readers for being through this journey. There are so many people who told me, I want to wait till all the six books come so that I can read it at one go. But most people didn't wait that long, didn't have the patience to wait that long. They have been reading, and some readers have been reading the same book again and again and again. Um, I would like to tell all of you all that I will be reaching out to all of you all with a request that all of you all who have been reading the book series Ramayana, the Game of Life, we are going to do a video contest of the best videos about the book series. So if anybody would like to share a small video about themselves, speaking about how the book has impacted them, it will really be a great opportunity. I will personally send signed copies of book six to all those people who really make good quality videos and post it on their social media and tag me along with it. And of course, the best videos will also go on my social media and will go on the social media of Jacob, my publishers. So please, we will reach out to you all with posts that request for videos. So whoever makes those videos and sends it to us, we will definitely give them suitable rewards. And more than that, Jacob, my publisher, who has been really, really supportive, Akash, and so many people from the Jaiko team have been an integral part of my journey. I really would like to thank them, especially Akash, for believing in me, standing by me, and supporting in every possible way. This book series, Ramayana, the Game of Life, is practically like my magnum opus contribution to society, and I think it will remain so for a long, long period to come. Would like to thank all the readers once again for their enthusiastic participation and for always being there. Um, and the next 3 or 4 months, you will see a lot coming about the book series. They will have contests, we'll have competitions, we'll have some quizzes, we'll have many, many live events. Please do participate in all of them, and please do be a part of all of them so that you can experience the journey of the Ramayana, the Game of Life live series with me. Thank you very much. We can take some question answers if there are any. That bridge name, Geeta ji is asking what is the name of the bridge. So, interestingly, the Ramayana calls that bridge as Nala Setu because the bridge was constructed by Nala under the direction of Nala, and the universe, the ocean god Varuna Dev chose specifically Nala to construct the bridge because of his technical expertise. The bridge was named as Nala Setu. It's also called Ram Setu by many, but at least technically, originally it was called Nala Setu. We'll have a next question. Anything else? This is my father, Badrinarayanan Baldevanan Prabhu. He is my father. My mother and father are very much a part of this event. By their blessings and by their good wishes, we have been able to do this monumental effort. There are so many members of my family who are so enthusiastically sharing their blessings and good wishes. I would really like to thank them from the bottom of my heart for being there, supporting this whole journey of mine as an author. Thank you very much. Anything else? Any other questions? Okay, great. So, very, very grateful to all of y'all for being here on this Diwali evening live session. Very grateful for your enthusiastic participation, and I'm hoping to see you all more often on more live sessions like this. Thank you very much. And for all those of you all who have liked this session, who have learned a lot from this session, please do leave your comments, subscribe to the different social media channels, and please do be a part of many, many events that are to follow. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.